Hey there, welcome back guys. In this video we're going to show you what to do with all your leftover filament. Let's say it's running low, you always take it off because you're like, that's not enough, right? What do we do with it? Well, without any further ado, let's get started. And we got this little device here that was sent to us, and it's going to allow us to combine all these into one. The only one I'm not sure about is the white one because it's a different Center Creality one, but it should do the trick. And let's put all these down first and check out this new device. Should be as easy as 1, 2, 3. The hardest part will be combining all them because I let them accumulate. Most likely you want to do it as you reach the end so you don't have 6 spools to work with. Sometimes you change the colors. And for me, I'm okay mixing them together because if I'm going to print something in a multicolor or like complex colors, it'll be for the kids and they'll be happy with it. And I myself would too. Be kind of interesting. So here it is. Look, it's SUNLU, How To by Lu, Filament Connector, FC01. There might be other models out there, but this is the one I got. Looks really simple and easy to use. Let's see. A lot of times they do. We'll just open it up and see what we got here. Nice. You have instructions, which is great. I recommend reading the instructions. And then we have here. Oh, wow. Interesting. Some simplify your creation. I guess there's something else in here. Yeah, there should be. Oh, yeah, like little filament connectors, a little USB. Oh, wow. Hopefully the USB part goes on the other side. I don't have a computer that has that. So you could probably power it from your computer. And, well, let's have a look. Let's not jump to conclusions just yet, but it should be really interesting on the inside. Too bad it's not USB-C powered. Let's see, but I have an adapter. Yeah, it is. Bummer. So it runs off 5 volts. I believe I have a 5-volt charger down there, which is fine. We have a little plastic thing here. We can take that off. And yeah, so you could definitely plug this into the USB slot of your computer, or you might have to find a, I thought the one I saw online plugged into the USB-C adapter. That is so weird. Not sure what's in there. We could always take it apart and see, or just look at the directions and see what's in store. Or you can always find an adapter like this that has USB-C too. So it's just, you know, if this works out, I will definitely find that part. And, let's have a look at here. I wonder what's inside here though. I don't know, I'm just intrigued, like why would they send the device with screws in the back? Right, you're probably wondering what's in there too. Don't open it, might void a warranty. Okay, let's see, that's screw number 1. And screw, it looks like a little compartment. I don't know, it just... And see what's in there. Oh wow. Oh, it's a little cutter. Oh, nice. So the razor is replaceable. That's good to know. Okay. That's a little razor that's on the inside. You can replace that if need be. Hopefully you won't have to. It looked pretty sharp too. It looked like a guillotine. Don't break your stuff. So make sure if you take it apart. It doesn't come with an extra razor, but it does come with all these. And then we have here. See, the razor I presume is in there. Somewhere in there, we'll find out. Oh yeah, then you just pop it in. Wow, kind of neat, huh? Look at that. Interesting. Okay, so let's get started. Really nice. Caution, hot. So when it gets hot enough, right? Then you have, maybe that goes there. That's, is that where the razor was? Yeah, the razor's in there. So when you close it, let's see what it does. Let's put a piece of filament in there and see what happens on the razor part. Oh wow. See, we put that in there. And presumably, let's see what that does. No, it doesn't really do much. Do multicolor and this color. So here's one end. First you got to find your ends and then cut it at an angle like it had said. One goes that way and the other one you'll do upside down. So one will go in here. Don't worry, I'll show you. And since we cut that one right this way at that angle, they both can't be cut at the same angle. So that one will be cut at this angle, right? And then when you put them together, right, ideally they will go, oh nice, that worked. There'll be two opposites, right? And then, so now, as you can see, I gotta move this drone out of the way. And now, we have two different angles, see? And they just blend right in. Oh wow, that's so cool. See? And now, we're gonna put them like that. The hardest part is that probably keeping them straight, right? Because they wanna bend in their own little direction. Okay, so comes with a lot of these. It tells you on the box what, you know, how many units are there. So I think I ordered the cheapest one, but too bad these aren't replaceable. See, that goes that way, and then this one should combined in the opposite way. Kind of like doing corners if you've ever worked on your bathroom. The trim, it's the worst and hardest part. So now, make sure it stays evenly, and then you're going to pop that open like that, and then you'll make sure again that the two, see how it just slipped out, and it's hard to see, so you could always pull it out again to make sure. So nope, see, it's like twisty and bendy. Okay, so that's down. So as long as you can get them both to line up, yep, that's lined up, and blend into each other. See how it wants to bend? Can't have that. Okay. See, and it doesn't want to stay in, which is a little bit of a bummer. Okay, so then you put it in, make sure it's lined up with the line, and then, oh man, missed it. Yeah, this isn't as fluid as you think it is. Damn it. It's really not. Once we get it in, got it. Let it lock in, and then we close this, and that's it. Now I gotta choose, now I gotta find a power source. Not sauce, but source. Okay. Is that it? Oh, this is the front. Okay. It's been a while since I used this. See, 12 volts, 16 volts, 20 volts, 24 volts. Damn it. Is that right? 12 volts? I don't... Here we go. All right. So ideally, you'll get 5 volts out of your Mac. On the older Macs, that has the USB connector. And then I just got to turn it on. Hopefully, yep, it's charged. Great, and it's already on, which is great. So power's on. There's a power button right there. It's held in there. See? Oh, nice. PLA. Perfect. Turn it on again. We definitely don't want ABS. PLA. So we're going to lower the temperature to 185. So the temperatures are already preset in here, so there's no need to match it to whatever your printer is at. Okay. Where's the timer? There's no timer. Like, how do I know? I guess hopefully they you know, maybe it'll reach. Yeah, about that. Okay, so we lost one. Looks that it just came flying out. Bummer. And it was in there pretty tight. All right. Well, we'll just slice this one the opposite way. Since we did one up, we'll do one down. And then, oh. Okay, it is hot. All right. Leave that like that. 185, then we'll close this. Nice. Okay, so it's beeping. Temperature's dropping. Just hold it, because it is pushing up, and the filament is kind of pushing in both directions. One's going up, one's pulling down. 1.7. As soon as it beeps, you know it's ready to start your countdown. Start counting to 1. But it's not there yet. As you can see, it's at 177. It's nice that we can run this off our computer, but we just need to find a little adapter thingy. Let's see what we got. 183. Almost. Come on, you got this. There we go. Let's start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then I guess we can shut it off. And then open it carefully. Caution, hold the ends, because they just... Are you shitting me? How the fuck did that happen? Oh, maybe I'll just put them in like that, let them bind. Since it's still hot, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That should do the trick. Nice, and it bound. So it worked better by watching it, except it's a little bit... No, I think it's good. See? So you kind of have to watch it and help it a little bit to work that magic. I don't recommend, trusting the machine. It beeps, you count, and then, but we should be able to see how it bound, because that's not going to fit through your machine. So now the tricky part is here, splicing this so that we can actually watch your fingers and make sure if you have an X-Acto blade that it's tight, so that when you work your magic, nothing crazy happens with your hands. So the hardest part is getting this off, but the plastic looks like it is easy to work with. Now, you might have to shave it, so you have to use your better judgment, but it looks pretty smooth to me. Just taking out any imperfections so that it's smooth, and it'll go right through your machine. Of course, the heat will just cause it to flow right through, but that's not bad. That's pretty good. We're gonna roll up this spool, okay? It broke. It was bound. Wow. All right, don't get too excited. That's not a good sign. All right. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, now that the filament is off the spool, okay, you can get a scale and see how much filament this is. We can get a scale and do that, in case you guys are wondering how much is here. A little bit of a bummer that it didn't work. So if you do have a scale, you can weigh your filament, right, and get an idea of how much is there, or how much you'll be needing. So let's say, for example, look, you'll turn it on, okay, grams, of course, put it on here. So it's 21 G's, so that's 21, which is great. Now you know that's 21, so we'll just remember, write it down, okay? So you have 21 G's of filament, right? And then you want to know how much this weighs, because then we can figure out how much filament is on here. So then we have this, and this weighs 118 G's. So we know that this weighs 118, right? So on that note, yep, it's still at 118. 118 G's for the spool, right? So now, how much is on here? So what we can do is we can take this, put it on there. This weighs 202, right? So if this weighs 202, what do? It's 202, right? Minus 118. 1/8. Just my 1 is too far off. And if you can't count, don't worry about it. Use a calculator or Alexa. Alexa, what's 202 minus 118?
202 minus 118 is 84.
See? Voila. So now we know we have 84 G's of filament here. See? Our answers match, but don't worry if you can't count. Use a calculator. We got you covered. All right, so we have 84 here, and then you have 21. So we all got 100, yeah, almost 100, which is pretty cool because you can definitely print something interesting out of 100, but sort of, because that wasn't supposed to happen, and that's the part that's when we say welcome back to everything that glitches. Okay, so one is naturally going to be in its position, and the other one's naturally going to be opposite. Okay, so they'll be fighting for their space, but you could cut it right in a way so that, see how it just bends all the way back. Just find that angle, and then what you want to do is, see, that's, you can't have it like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the other one. Just watch the stuff, and then this one goes in like that. And then before you put it in, you can make sure, because you don't want to have to turn it, you want the magic to happen while it's in there. And it's bound, which is great. And then one goes, they both meet up at the middle. And then now, I guess presumably you have to hold this, because I don't know if you saw it before, kind of was pulling the other way. And if you have a 5-volt charger, I believe I might have a 5-volt charger down there. Okay, so now we can turn it on. PLA, when it reaches 185 degrees, you guys can see, it's going to work its magic. What? Oh, you've got to be, see, it just pulled out. So let's shut it off. So, when that happens, we say, welcome back to everything that glitches. It's like probably one of those has seen on TV devices. You're like, oh my God, I want that. Yeah, well, do you really want it? Okay, that part went in like that. It went in nicely, if you ask me. All right, and there we go. So hold it with 2 hands, unfortunately. Don't push it and apply pressure, because it will blend in together and mush it. All right, great. It's beeping, as you can see. And here, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait 8 seconds, and now we're going to shut it off because, it's reached its ideal temperature. That's what it said for binding. And now we have it here. Hold it, let it cool off, because remember, it's so soft on the inside. And when it cools off, it should, as you can see, it wants to bend in its own direction, right? So we'll wait a little bit. It's nice, it's bound. That little heat shrink type thing, plastic, is keeping it from going bloop in there. It's spreading a bit, but you could always shave that off. But it looks pretty bound to me. But remember, it's PLA, so it does take a little bit of time to cool off. It's still hot. Hot means that it's still flexible. Like if you've ever taken something off your board and like the fish, right? It'll bend. And when it bends, it stays in that position forever. So, we don't want it to flex in a position and be stuck that way forever. Okay? The only issue I can see having is that, the filament wants to pull in a different direction. So you want to make sure that when you do this, right, that they are somewhat in the direction that they're both in the same direction. So as you can see here, one's pulling one way and one's pulling the other way. So you kind of want them to both be the same direction. See how this one's going that way and one's going the other way. So we probably want to do this one over so that it's actually in the same direction as this one is going, because otherwise it's not really ideal. But then what you do is when you're done, you'll put this here, like that, push down, like that, and then make sure it's somewhat centered, because remember we took apart the blade in the beginning, and then we push down, and the blade will cut that plastic. It'll splice it, creating a, whoops, don't accidentally turn it on, shut it off, and then now there should be a splice in the, and here there is actually, and you could use, we could use, this thing right here, and it should splice right open since we scored it, basically. It was like a nice little score to some extent that allowed, oh, you could probably use your fingers, right? Let's see. It scored, but not, oh yeah, it did score. It scored really well, to the extent where, I'm not sure if, see, look, see, it just, yeah, it didn't hold, it scored, but for some reason there's a score in there. So it looks like we got to do it again. And then remember, you want them both to spool on the spule, the same direction. So then one's that way, and then the other one's going to be this way. See? And now when we put them together, hopefully they'll be blended in the direction that they go. See? And now we cut it so that they both will wrap, right, in the same direction, because you don't want it to be opposite. All right, so now we press this button here. It'll pop open, and then we'll lock this in like that. Remember, it's hot. Well, now it's not hot, but ideally it's hot. Okay, so then we have, oh wow, there's a little button there. So now, oh man, you gotta hold it though. Hold it, and then now, so that doesn't close it. Man, you're killing me. It's not as fluid as you would think. Now, press it down, close it, temperature is going up, hold it, because as you see, it will come out from the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what you want to do is shut it off, okay? Too bad there's no timer on here. Lift it up slowly. Remember, it's hot. Hold it because it will pop out. Oh man, literally it will pop out. So you hold it like that so it blends. Let it cool off. And you can't leave it in there, because if you do, it's gonna want to pull out from the sides, right? It doesn't hold it in on the sides. You're the one holding it. But at least we got it in the direction it needs to be bound in, right? And then you can touch it now. I think it's cooling off to some extent. And remember, it's going to be pulling. I don't recommend the scoring thing, as you saw what happened before. It kind of worked. We can try it again, right? I mean, they did put it on there. That's what it's for, just to score. Let it cool a little bit. You could blow it if you want. Remember, it's still hot. It takes a while to cool down and a while to heat up. Looks like it could use some shaving a little bit. Remember, because it has to fit through your filament machine. But you could always do this, like when it was still warmer, to like push it in, let it blend. All right, so now let's see if we can score it. Push this in like that. You have to hear it click, okay? When you hear that, you know you're good. And then we press down so we can score it. Let it score. There. Now we should have like a little groove in there that's peelable. And then now, pop one out. Pop another out. Move this to the side since you're done with this magical device as seen on TV. And then you look on the score. You ever do that? You buy something on TV, oh, it's so cool, I saw it on TV. And then when you get it, this happens. Then you find your blade, or whichever works for you. You shouldn't need a blade if it's scored it, but you know, you never know. And then, Whoops, watch your fingers. Ideally, you could do it the opposite way, but as you can see, it's a little bit tricky. We should be able to use our hands, though, if it's scored it correctly, right? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need a blade. You could use your hands because it scored it really well. Oh, we got it nice this time around. Look at that. Kind of neat, huh? After a few attempts, you finally get it. And we'll just get rid of the blade. Looks like we don't have to scrape it to even it out because it worked really well. All right. It does feel a little bit, yeah, there's that little groove from before. Interesting. It does feel a little bit bulkier like before, and it feels a little bit stiff, literally, to the point where you gotta be really careful. Hopefully, and I don't think that part's gonna bend. It'll bend, but it's not as flexible as it used to be. It's like bound. It's a little bit harder. But look, we did it so that it's on the curve, right? So it will go back onto the spool naturally. See, and you want to make sure that you do that. Okay, this part, yeah, it should fit through there, I think. I don't think you have to. So now you see it'll just spool on. See? Because it's going in the direction, right, that it was originally on the other spool. And then hopefully, right, it doesn't disconnect. And then this part might take a while, but you want to make sure that it doesn't tangle up. Okay. All right, so we got one. See? And now we're going to try one more. So we're going to cut this one right here. See? At one angle. You could leave it like that because it's not going to go anywhere. Choose another color. See, remember, it can't be opposite, right? It can't be like one going one way and one going another way. So what we got to do is spin them both around in the same direction. Not same, but opposite. So you want to flip one like that. See? Flip one like that. And then we'll cut the other one like that. There, that looks good. See? So this one will be cut too. Put this like that. Yeah, it's fine. I think that's more important than the angle. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then hold it. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, we almost got it. It's so hot. All right. So then what we'll do is we'll score it. Remember, you just put it in, open it up, end to end. Once that goes in like that, see? And then you just push down and it'll score the plastic connector thingy. And then now you should be able to use your fingers to undo. Yeah, this comes off really easily to some extent. Yeah, comes off. Oh, nice. This one blended really. Look at that. See? Just blended. You could shave off any imperfections if you're not sure it's going to fit through, but it worked well. Really well. I could see how that part could be shaved a little bit. But yeah, so far so good. Looks good. So then what you do is don't worry about what I had just done because look, you're going to have to spool it up by hand unless you have a machine that can wrap up your filament, you know. But you want to make sure you wrap it up in a way so that, don't worry about the tangled part here because that can easily be undone. But you want to make sure it's not going to do that on the spool, okay? Oh my God. So, lesson learned, don't take the filament off the spool. Leave it on the spool and I guess somehow wind it up again on the spool so that it just works right for you. But as you can see, that was a nightmare. All right. Oh my God. How many more spools do I have left? I don't know. All right. So knowing that, you're moving forward. That one's done. And that one's done. And I think I'm going to pass on the white, being that we're going to see if we can print a dragon out of this, right? Now remember, when you continue, right, you want the flow of the filament to be going in in the same direction, okay? So make sure this is already heated. And remember, we want the flow of the filament to be going. So basically both spools have to be in sync for when you wind them, okay? And as you saw, we're gonna cut this right here like that. And you know what? I cut it straight and it seemed to work fine. And cutting it at an angle is really tricky, getting it to work its magic. But if you do it right, and then cut off any remnants from the extruder that might be on there. As you can see, the grooves from the extruder. Just gonna cut it like that, okay? And then I'm gonna grab another one of these things. Hopefully you didn't, once you get the hang of it, right, you are golden. This will go like that. See? Whoop, see how it pops out? You gotta be careful with that. It's not your fault. It's just the filament. And you find your end. Hopefully you're not too wound up after winding it up, right? Literally, no pun intended. And then, see, it wants to go straight. It wants to go in its own direction. And then you find the hole. And then you find the hole, put it in. Now, open this. Okay, make sure both filaments are in the same directions. It's going to be hot, but not that hot where you can't touch it because you're not touching the metal, okay? Remember, it's hot. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pop it up. Whoa, oh man. See, I think it may have, see how it was bending? That's how hot it gets. So you got a couple of seconds. All right, this one may or may not work. Because it got so hot that we saw the filament bend. And that's not really a good sign. Because you don't want it to do that. I wish it shut off, like it just, started to shut off as soon as, but then again, it would still be too hot. All right, so knowing that, moving forward, you could touch it a little bit. See? Work out some of the kinks, and we'll know in a second or two if, it actually took. Now, next part, remember? We'll just put it in there. And, let's see. No, I think it's pretty good. Put it in the little filament slicer. It'll pop, right? And then you push this down to close it, shut it off, score it, okay? And you don't need any tools because this will peel right off. It'll let you look for the score, okay? This one may need to be done again because, oh no, I think it's all right. I think it's pretty good. So now we just got to get this out, the part that we scored. And it should have scored. It's a little tricky. There, see? Voila. You could shave off any imperfections, but I think it did it pretty good. Now the hardest part. Right? Just testing that, making sure that it's not. It should work. Once it feeds through the filament, you're golden. Like once it goes through and, you know, the other one, you know, it starts feeding and feeding and working its magic, you're fine. The question is whether or not it's going to do it all. Okay, so now with this, you can basically, I recommend doing it like this. Take like this. If you have a little spool, and then just do like that. Okay, and in case you're wondering how much filament is on here, let's put it on the scale, right? Because we have all the numbers here from before. Just can't do it upside down. All right, let's see. Put this, wait for it to go to grams. And there we go. Put this on here. 378. Okay, and we know the spool is 118. Alexa, what's 378 minus 118?
378 minus 118 is 260.
Definitely enough for a dragon. All right, knowing that and moving forward, well, as long as the scale's correct, right? If we've been down that road before. I wonder how much this one took. 25. Wow. Oh, but that's it needs supports. So with supports, it's probably 50 or 60. All right, let's put this on the printer and see how it will work its magic. Catch you guys on the flip side. All right, so well, gonna need a little bit more light than that. So let's turn on some lights. And we got the filament spool on there. I would probably recommend getting a filament spool roller so that, you know, it doesn't look like that and you don't go through the same nightmare I did. As you can see, it's printing. It's going to print because the filament's on here. The question is it going to fit through, right, our holes here? Is it going to work its magic, or it's going to get jammed, or it's going to keep pulling, or is it going to break? We don't know. Time will tell. So yeah, you know, ideally you don't want it to look like that. You want it to look like this. But, you know, this is what we got, so we're working with what we got. All right. Catch you guys on the flip side. And here it is. Voila. Kind of neat, huh? Still got a little more left. We managed to get 2 dragons out of this. There's still more gray up there, but it worked really well. Everything fit right through. And if you plan it correctly, like remember how many G's it took to make this, right? So if you can splice your G's accordingly to the weight on the scale and divide it in half, you could actually make this 3 colors without pausing it. So let's say you would make 30 G's one layer, 30, you know, 3, 6, not, however you have to figure out the math on that, but it can be done, as you can see, because this actually looks really cool. And then let's stick to the board. You know, if you let it cool off, normally this is what happens to your 3D prints. But this is really nice. Kind of neat, huh? Gotta love it. Kind of neat, huh? I'm kind of on the fence with it. I don't know if it's worth all the headaches. I think I'd rather pay the additional $20 and buy that extra filament. But if you have the patience and the time, and let's say something you're going to print requires 98 to 100 G's, right, of filament, you can divide it, right, and weigh it with the scale so that it comes out just perfect. In this case, it came out, right, not as perfect as we wanted it to, but it had like a little mullet cut, which is nice. But if you plan it correctly, you know, you can get an idea of where you'll be in your print, and then just cut with your scissors, splice it together so that you can have that multicolor experience without having to do a pause print on your 3D printer G-code file. But it does go through the hole, and it does go through this hole with, you know, with a little bit of guidance and help. Don't let go, hold on to it as it's working its magic so that it doesn't pop out like you see, because that will drive you crazy. But look at that. What do you know? We can do a multicolor print nice to have it happen, luckily, right at the eye. So it looks like he has like a little mask. And then, we could have done gray on the feet. Like, so we would just cut it, right? And then go into the slicer and slice it at that particular point, so you know how many grams of filament it would need. But other than that, to make your prints really cool, and then you'd have everything would just be used up accordingly. And, kind of neat. But since you made it this far in the video, we did get 2 dragons, okay, out of that experience. And just leave in the comments. You can say, enter the dragon, and this will be you. It'll be for this continent. The next contest will be shipping internationally. But yeah, these will be free of charge, no cost. And we'll do a bingo drawing on these, so that, the winner will get, we don't know. It'll be a drawing like we normally do. So again, leave enter the dragon in the comments, and the next video will be shipping internationally for the next contest, because usually when there's an international winner, we just send them an Amazon gift card for that equivalent amount. But in this case, there is no Amazon gift card because we can't sell these anyway. So that's pretty much it. Anyway, I hope this video helped you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for other videos. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.